She plays an exciting, stat-stuffing, low IQ brand of basketball. Yes, I said it. Caitlin Clark plays a low IQ brand of basketball. She's exciting. Love it. I fell in love with Caitlin Clark. But I can't take the dumb basketball. If Taylor Swift and LeBron James had a baby, he or she would play basketball just like Caitlin Clark.
Hello, and welcome to another basketball edition of the Adrienne Ross Show. I got a show for you today. First of all, let me say thank you to those who have subscribed to the channel, and thank you for those who have joined membership. We are almost at 32,200 subscribers, and membership just continues to grow. We have new members from Rookie, MVP, Legend, and GOAT. And just shout out to David Malosh, MVP, Gilly, Barash, MVP, Sint, MVP, Chip and Sherry, MVP. I think it's Literally Season MVP, Sandy Reynolds with the GOAT membership, KB Magic with MVP. So thank you to the newest members of MVP, Legend, and GOAT. I so appreciate the support. Also the support of the rookies, everybody. Let's get into today's show because I got something to say, okay? I got something to say about Jason Whitlock. You guys know, I imagine. If you don't, Jason Whitlock is of The Blaze. He's got his daily podcast. He's a sports writer. He's got quite a history in the world of sports. And he's someone I used to listen to for a while every day. Used to listen to his podcast every day for a while. But it's been quite some time now since I probably listened to more than one full episode of Jason Whitlock's commentary, and for good reason. And I'll get to that in a moment. But I catch his stuff on Instagram, etc., here and there, the little snippets, right? So he decided recently that he was going to be a Caitlin Clark fan. Now, this is someone that, like I said, I stopped listening to rather, because I just really, I can't take Jason Whitlock. I don't even think he likes women at all. You know, the only woman he seems to have any respect for is Shamika Michelle, who's on his show. He shows her quite a bit of respect. Beyond that, I don't even think he likes women at all. And so I just had enough of Jason Whitlock. So I just took my exit. Now, he's decided recently that he's going to be on the Caitlin Clark bandwagon and, been speaking out about, Caitlin Clark and, supposedly watching all the games and all that other stuff. But he now has come out with this commentary about Caitlin Clark, completely trashing Caitlin Clark. And I think I know why. I may rephrase that. I know why. And so I'm going to call him out. I don't know how many people out there are willing to call out Jason Whitlock. I was before this recording, I was watching a playback of DePote B. Frank. I was watching a playback of his live. And I didn't know he was going to talk about Jason Whitlock. I was already planning to go live. And then I heard him mention Jason's name. And so I shut him off, because when I know I'm about to talk about something, I usually don't like to be influenced by it, so I'll turn it off. Same thing with my writing. Sometimes people will send me a link to this, that, or the other thing, and I just don't like to be influenced by it until I get my stuff out, so my head is clear and it's truly my thoughts. So I'll just say not going to do that till I write my piece or whatever. And so it is with here. I'm going to look forward to seeing what DePote B. Frank said after I do my recording. In fact, he and I are hoping to hook up later to this evening and do a live about something completely different. Maybe we'll get to talk about this. And if you haven't subscribed to DePote B. Frank on YouTube, please go ahead and do that. All right. So like I said, I don't know what's been said about Jason Whitlock, but I'm going to say that I find Jason Whitlock to basically, he kind of rides bandwagons. He presses buttons. He does things for clicks. He irritates a lot of people. And sometimes when you irritate people, it's good. I don't disagree with everything Jason Whitlock I've ever heard him say, because otherwise I wouldn't have been listening to him back, a while ago on the regular. But this Caitlin Clark thing, I'm going to first start off by showing you, letting you listen to and see a compilation of some of what I heard when I went past his Instagram the other day. So check this out.
The Indiana Fever, they assigned Caitlin Clark a group of babysitters, her teammates. They're tasked with trying to prevent the petulant and entitled WNBA star from bickering with referees. It's not working. Ponytail Pete Maravich, the biggest star in American sports, is transforming into crying Caitlin Clark, an unlikable, floppy whiner who plays with a victim mentality. Every single game, she's like this. It's driving me crazy. I've watched every single Caitlin Clark game this WNBA season. I bought the WNBA League Pass. I recently purchased 2 Caitlin Clark jerseys. For the past 18 months or so, Caitlin Clark has been my favorite athlete. She's worn me out. Can't do it. The whining, the complaining, the flopping, the victimhood, the tongue wagging, the hyper focus on engaging with fans and arguing with the referees. Can't take it. She plays an exciting, stat-stuffing, low IQ brand of basketball. Yes, I said it. Caitlin Clark plays a low IQ brand of basketball. She's exciting. Love it. I fell in love with Caitlin Clark. But I can't take the dumb basketball. If Taylor Swift and LeBron James had a baby, he or she would play basketball just like Caitlin Clark. Clark spent the entire game flailing her arms, flopping to the ground at the slightest contact, and fussing at game officials. And so this problem's getting worse. I assume over time that Caitlin Clark's on-court behavior would improve. I thought she'd become less bratty. Instead, things have gotten much worse. No dad around to chaperone. She whines and complains every game about everything. One of the main reasons she shattered the WNBA record for turnovers. She has 220. No player before this season had ever recorded more than 137 turnovers in a season. She's sloppy with the basketball because she wastes too much energy and focus monitoring the referees. She also picks up offensive fouls for pushing off with her left hand. Her lack of emotional control, high turnovers, victim attitude, poor shot selection, and lazy defense are why I expect the Fever to exit the playoffs in the first round.
Okay, so you probably have heard the old saying, with friends like these, you don't need enemies, right? So he said he was a fan of Caitlin Clark for the past 18 months. She was his favorite athlete, etc. We went from I'm a Caitlin Clark fan all of a sudden, although I was dissing women's sports all along and don't really seem to like women at all, and etc. But now, I'm a Caitlin Clark fan, but now I'm trashing Caitlin Clark because all of a sudden you can't stand that Caitlin Clark complains to the officials. All of a sudden it's driving you crazy. All of a sudden it's so annoying that you just can't take it anymore. And not only do you say, well, I can't take it anymore. She's complaining about everything. She needs to cut it out. Her teammates have to come to her rescue, etc. I only showed you a little bit there. There's more to that. All right, I just wanted to give you an idea. But not only are you saying that, then you go so far as to say that she plays a low IQ basketball game, a low IQ brand of basketball. And that, if you hadn't lost me yet, you lose me there. Because there's nobody who knows the game who thinks that Caitlin Clark doesn't have a high IQ when it comes to the game of basketball. But you can't just say that you're annoyed with her now because that the complaining is what it is. But now she's really playing a low brand of basketball, and now her turnovers are so horrible, and her turnovers are so bad because she's so busy focused on the officials and all this stuff. So now you just totally dissing her game. Oh yeah, it's an exciting brand of basketball, but it's low IQ. Yes, I said it. It's like low IQ. I don't get any examples of that, but it's low IQ basketball, and you completely trash her, Jason. And this is where the phony comes out, because who is a real fan? Yeah, even as a real fan, you can have constructive criticism. Listen, if you ever watch me during the lives, you'll hear me say, don't talk to the officials, Caitlin. Don't talk to the officials, Caitlin. But you also hear me say, they've been mauling her on the court all season. And you also hear me say, particularly in the last live in the game against Dallas, I'm saying, Christy Sides, you need to be stepping up. You need to be defending your players. You need to be in the officials' ears. And if you will do that, then your players won't have to do it so much. But yeah, I too have said, Caitlin, let it go. There's a whole difference between saying that, saying, don't talk to the officials, don't get another tech, let's go, and saying all of a sudden, it's a horrible brand of basketball. It's low Q basketball. Oh, your turnovers are so bad. I can't take it anymore. Well, she's been turning the ball over. We've been talking about that. They've been talking about that. She's still been balling out. Okay. But now it's just so bad. Oh, now she's just whining all of a sudden. Well, you know what? Caitlin has talked to the officials since college. You even mentioned that in your speech. Okay. But now it's just so bad that you as a fan, it is right before playoff time, right before playoffs, and you can't take anymore. Who does that? This team has not been in the playoffs since 2016. You've been hollering, hooping and hollering, someone who didn't even care about women's basketball at all, kind of dogging them out. But now you're on that bandwagon and you get to the playoffs, but now you can't take it no more. What kind of sense does that make? It makes zero sense, and it reveals the fake that he is. He was never a true fan of Caitlin Clark. And the only reason now why he is saying what he's saying and dogging Caitlin Clark, what's the difference between Caitlin Clark before and Caitlin Clark all of a sudden now, especially since now they've made the playoffs? I can tell you what the difference is.
Looking to buy a new home in the Jackson, Missouri area? Then check out the all-new Kinder Farm subdivision located at Bird Court in Jackson, Missouri. It's on Highway 34, less than 1 mile from the 7234 intersection, just 5 minutes from Jackson High School. Perfect location. Don't miss out.
See what the difference is. The difference is that Caitlin Clark liked a post by Taylor Swift. And so Jason puts out this video that he entitled Whitlock. Caitlin Clark is spoiled, entitled, and embracing victimhood. This is what he puts out. This is what now he's telling us, oh, I'm not a fan of hers anymore. I can't stand her anymore because she's spoiled, she's entitled, and she's embracing victimhood. And the only thing that has changed is the fact that she liked a post by Taylor Swift. Let me tell you what the deal is. There are people, Jason included, didn't really care for Caitlin Clark per se. Not that they have to care for Caitlin Clark, but they saw Caitlin Clark as the way to stick it to the left, the political left. They saw Caitlin Clark as someone who defied the stereotypes. She was, as Jason had pointed out before, she's white, she's straight, she comes from Christian values, okay? And they thought she was conservative. She was what they wanted to use to stick it to the political left, whom they consider spoiled, victim mentality, and entitled. Now, I'm not here to speak up for the left. I'm a conservative, but I am here to speak up for what to me is absolutely obvious. Now, when Caitlin Clark clicks like on Taylor Swift, who endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for president, okay? Now they want to go, oh my goodness, wait a minute. Caitlin Clark is not the person that we thought she wasn't, that she's not on the right. She's with Taylor Swift, who, is a leftist. Supposedly she calls herself a witch, whatever that is. Okay, I'm no Taylor Swift fan. I probably wouldn't know her if she walked by me in the store. Okay, but she's got a huge fan base, right? So now when we were using Caitlin to stick it to the left, to stick it to the stereotypical basketball player. Yes, to stick it to Angel Reese even. She was the white woman who was straight, who came from Iowa. And yeah, she's straight up balling. And they don't like it. And so that's our opportunity to stick it to them. And there are other podcasts out there who do it every single day. I ain't calling them out unless I have a need to, but there are others who do it every single day. It's not about really appreciating Caitlin Clark and what she brings. It's about the fact that they can use her to stick it to the other side. That's how they see it. So now Caitlin Clark was asked about liking Taylor Swift's endorsement of Vice President Harris, and she didn't take the bait. So then they praised her for that. Yeah, because she didn't say, yeah, I'm on the Kamala Harris train. So they're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But then after a while, it's not cool no more. It's not cool no more. So now what happens? Now that she doesn't fit into our mold, it wasn't enough that she didn't just say, yeah, no, I'm with Taylor Swift on that. I'm supporting her. I'm supporting Kamala Harris. They didn't want her to say that, right? And she didn't say that. But then now that's not even enough. Now I can come after her because I can no longer use her to stick it to the left, which is what they were using her for, many of these people. She represents to them being able to say, take that to the stereotypical basketball player and the activist WNBA league. And Caitlin Clark, they thought fit into what that kind of scenario for them. And now that it looks like, we don't really know, but now that it looks like she doesn't, oh my goodness, now she's fair game. Now, before the playoffs, all of a sudden, I can't take it. All of a sudden, she can't really play basketball. All of a sudden, she's got a victim mentality. All of a sudden, she's entitled. All of a sudden, she's spoiled. All of a sudden, she's not really all that good. All of a sudden, X, Y, and Z. No, all of a sudden, you realize that maybe she wasn't the person you thought she was, whom you could use to make the other side feel like, take that. Jason Whitlock has never been a fan of women's basketball. Somehow Caitlin Clark caught his fancy, and I just told you why. And now he realizes, oh man, maybe I was wrong. So now I gotta diss her. So now I just can't take the whining and complaining. We're just about to go into the playoffs. What are you talking about? And so now those people who support Caitlin Clark, who enjoy her game, now they're Caitlin Clark worshipers. Did you notice that? So now they're worshiping Caitlin Clark. What were you doing right before you got upset because she seemed to endorse Kamala Harris, or at least liked Taylor Swift's endorsement? So interesting. So the people who like her basketball game and weren't trying to use her for some personal agenda and can look and say she's entitled to support whoever she wants, even if I don't agree. So now we're worshiping Caitlin Clark. 5 minutes ago, I guess you were worshiping Caitlin Clark? No, you were worshiping your idea of what society is supposed to be like and who you could use to stick it to the other side. Let's just take a look at some of the comments on Instagram of other people who are calling Jason Whitlock out. I'm not generally one of those people who has a podcast who just goes to X. A lot of people just go to X and they just read through the comments and they just be like, these people, yes, they're taking it to Cheryl's Hoops, or, they're slamming so-and-so. Look at these people. And that's their whole podcast. getting on Twitter, getting on X or whatever, and just talking about what your average people are saying about X, Y, and Z person whom they personally have a problem with. I don't generally do that. And I am going to go over here on Instagram where I saw this video and show you that some of the other people are totally getting exactly what I'm getting, and we can see it in their comments. Check it out. Okay, so here's his post. Caitlin Clark is spoiled, entitled, and embracing victimhood. I left a long response here. I'm telling you what I think, so I don't need to read my response. Now, in all fairness to him, I will tell you that there were a few people who came out and said, yeah, we agree with you. Notice this picture here, though, crying Clark. This was the person who was a fan up until she liked a post by Taylor Swift, okay? Someone did say, I love Caitlin. I'm a big fan, but Whitlock is correct. She has to stop complaining on every play. It's a bad look for her and her team. She's playing like a top 5 player, but he's correct. She needs to stop the BS. Okay, so this is what this person says. All right, like I said, I'm at the TV sometime too, saying, you know, okay, Caitlin, let it go, get your head in the game, let it go. But I'm not, and neither did this person come out and say she plays a bad brand of basketball and then try to dog her for, you know, for the turnovers and all this other stuff. Okay, here's what someone said. Exactly what I said right here. He don't like her now because she's not endorsing his candidate with this crying, laughing emoji. Exactly. He doesn't like her because she's not endorsing his candidate. Now here's Brittany. Brittany's, that was Hard Rock 4040. Here's Brittany, says, you started to sound like Cheryl Swoops. You're judging a 22-year-old rookie who is still learning how to play professional basketball. Come on, man, really? Leave the kid alone. I know you are a fan. He ain't no fan. But the rest of this is, okay, you starting to sound like Cheryl Swoops. Okay, here's EMHD 326. Jason, did you watch her at all at Iowa? She's the same competitive player she's always been. Yes, she complains, but so does freaking LeBron. Other WNBA players and coaches constantly complain about calls, but you say nothing. Make up your mind. Okay, here's Kevin Burke 44. Jason is all over the place. I can't keep track. Now he's against Caitlin Clark. And someone else says, you just want to baffle people. You are better than that, or so I thought. And then the thumbs down. Now here's this one. And that was Nelly Acosta. Here's this one, Debbie A Quarter. It says, from the beginning of the year, she has been mauled, pushed, beaten, and no calls. She does cry about the calls now, but most of the time she's right. They are fouling her. And then Moosey Music 86 says, I thought Jay actually did a review of this exact topic. Exactly. So, you know, and then someone says, I disagree. She's a whiner. Everyone sees it. Okay, well, that's a whole lot different from what Jason said in his whole speech there. She's a whiner. Most of the time, she's just balling. But Moosey Music 86 got it right when she said, I thought you did a whole thing on this. You're the one who did a whole thing on what Debbie said over here, that she's being mauled, pushed, beaten up, no calls. So apparently he knows it's true. Apparently, according to Moosey Music here, he's covered it before. And now she's like, now she's speaking up even more. He's saying it's gotten worse. He's saying, I thought it would get better, but it's gotten worse. Okay. All right. So here's another one. Z Daniel S. Whitlock is off his rocker with this one. He definitely ain't watching these games if that's his stance. This girl gets more no calls from fouls than anyone else in the league. Saying she's entitled is crazy work. Okay. I just wanted to show you a little bit of that. Because people are seeing right through this. All of a sudden, now you're not just doing a little video saying, hey, we're about to go into the playoffs. Hey, look at what you've done. Look at what you've accomplished. It's time to make sure you keep it together because, you know, boom. But no, instead you say, you know, because of that, the Fever, they're not even going to get past the first round. Oh, you just whine and complain. Oh, you've always whined and complained. Oh, that's why you got all those turnovers. Oh, you play a low IQ basketball game. What kind of mess is that? No, what happened is she hurt your widow feelings because you thought you could continue to use her against the left. And again, I'm a conservative, but I'm not into using people for my little anti-left campaign. using her because she's white, because she's straight, because she's not the typical, the black woman, the lesbian, the whatever else you always say, Jason, about these WNBA players. And now you wanted to use her to throw in their face because you thought she fit into your little bubble. But because she doesn't, or appears not to, because do we really know? But because she appears not to, because she liked the post or whatever, all of a sudden you can't take no more. That's why I say you're a joke, and that's why I stopped watching you a long time ago. Not that you care, but I'm gonna call it like I see it. It's just that simple. So as far as you guys go, you can let me know what you think in the comments. I don't think we can argue that she says some stuff. She says some stuff to the officials. Yeah, we gotta say that. But is it all that now that her basketball brand is low IQ and you can't watch no more and you throw her under the bus? And let me make sure I get it right. She is spoiled, entitled, and embracing victimhood? Really? You guys can chop it up in the comments. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I just had to say it, what I said. I'm hoping to do a little live or something with DePote Be Frank later on about maybe we'll touch on this. We have another topic in mind. Maybe we'll touch on this. Hang with us again. Again, make sure you subscribe to his channel, subscribe to this channel. Let us know what you think in the comments. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.